Hi guys, tonight we're diving into a slightly lighter but no less interesting topic: medieval junk food. Yes, there were no fast food chains or potato chip bags, but people still had their little indulgences. Some were sweet, some were strange, and some were snacks that might be a little too daring for the stomach. If this kind of slow-paced history story relaxes you, feel free to like the video and subscribe, but only if it truly brings you peace. Also, share in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is. Knowing that people all over the world are drifting off to sleep with the same story is strangely comforting. Now dim the lights, lie down comfortably, maybe place a glass of water by your side, and come, let me take you into the world of the Middle Ages' secret snacks. The day is winding down. You are standing on a cobbled street, just as the sun begins its slow descent, its last rays stretching long and thin across the old stones. A quiet coolness settles in the air, a gentle invitation to rest and reflect. The city's sounds are distant now, a soft, hushed murmur of closing gates and rustling leaves. You can feel the coolness of the ancient worn stones beneath your feet, each one a testament to countless footsteps and forgotten stories. The air holds the ghost of 1,000 smells from the day: the sweetness of roasted honey, the earthy scent of turned soil, the faint bitterness of wood smoke. A soft breeze stirs, a whisper on the back of your neck, and you instinctively pull your simple wool tunic a little tighter. A few small, round pebbles, loosened by time, have settled into the hollows of the cobbles, and as you shift your weight, they make a soft, scraping sound. It is a humble, beautiful sound, one that belongs to this quiet moment. Overhead, a worn wooden sign creaks gently, a slow, rhythmic groan as it sways in the evening air. It's the sign of a street vendor, a man who has now closed his shop for the night, his work done. The scent of the fresh bread he sold, the warm spices he used, still lingers in the air, a soft, welcoming memory of the day's last business. It calls to you, a gentle tug of curiosity, pulling you away from the main thoroughfare and down a narrow, winding side street. You follow the call, your steps echoing softly against the tall, silent stone walls that line the alley. The walls are covered in soft, green moss, and in the fading light, you can make out the tiny, crystalline drops of water that slowly trickle down its face, a gentle, almost silent percussion against the stone. The air grows warmer as you approach a small, arched doorway set deep into the wall. A soft, buttery yellow light emanates from within, and you can hear the faint, rhythmic crackle of a fire. As you peer through the doorway, a low-slung, sturdy piece of timber serves as the doorframe worn smooth by the touch of countless hands. The wood has a deep, rich patina, a testament to its age and purpose. You feel a new warmth on your face, a welcome change from the cool evening air. Inside, the space is not a large bakery, but a small, cozy kitchen. It's a simple space with clay jugs on a wooden shelf, a heavy mortar, and pestle on a low table, and a large, wide hearth at the far end where a fire crackles happily. The flickering light from the fire dances on the stone floor, making the shadows sway and shift with a gentle rhythm. A lone figure, their back to you, stands near the hearth. They are not baking bread, but working with something else entirely, something sweet. A simple, rough wooden table holds a pile of small, knobbly apples. These are not the shiny, polished, and perfectly round apples you might see in a grand market, but a rustic and real kind. They are small and tart-looking with a slight blush of red and green, a testament to their humble origins perhaps, grown in a simple orchard behind the alehouse, or maybe even foraged from a wild-growing tree on the outskirts of the village. The person inside is carefully chopping them, the gentle, muffled thump of the knife against the wooden cutting board, a quiet, rhythmic sound that is both calming and meditative. They toss the apple pieces into a large clay bowl. The soft clinking sound of the fruit hitting the earthenware, a pleasant, earthy note. Then, they add a handful of flour from a linen sack and a couple of eggs. A final touch is the addition of a bit of ale from a clay pitcher. You can almost feel the texture of the thick, uneven batter as it comes together. A rough-hewn mixture that promises a rustic, authentic taste. The reason for the ale is a small, historical secret. In these times, water was always a gamble. Its cleanliness never guaranteed. But ale, having been boiled and fermented, was a far safer choice. And it had the added benefit of making everything feel slightly more cheerful, as the old saying goes. A cast iron pan of sizzling fat sits over the fire, bubbling softly. With a swift, practiced motion, the person drops the apple-coated lumps of batter into the pan. A satisfying sizzle, a warm hissing sound, fills the air. It's the closest thing to a medieval donut, a golden fried apple fritter, and the smell is a warm, sugary cloud that fills the small, cozy space, wrapping itself around you and inviting you further in. You can see the fritters turning a deep, rich brown, bubbling softly in the hot fat. The light from the fire dances on the surface, making them shimmer with a warm, golden glow. The aroma is intoxicating. A complex blend of sweet apple and warm, slightly fermented grain from the ale. The scent of the frying fat, a humble pig fat that has been reused until it's developed its own unique character, adds a savory undertone, a reminder of the practical nature of medieval kitchens. It's a smell that promises a simple, satisfying indulgence. You watch as the fritters slowly float in the bubbling fat, their rough, uneven edges becoming a crispy golden brown. Each bubble and hiss of the oil tells a tiny story of transformation, turning simple ingredients into something special. You step a little closer, drawn in by the warmth and the aroma. You can now see the person's hands, rough and calloused from work, as they use a small slotted spoon to gently turn each fritter, ensuring it cooks evenly on all sides. Their movements are slow, deliberate, and calm. This is not a rushed process, but a ritual of creation. The sound of the sizzling fat becomes a low, consistent hum, a kind of peaceful background noise to the quiet scene. You find yourself mesmerized by the simple beauty of it all. The humble ingredients, the crackling fire, the gentle movements, all combining to create a small piece of joy. You take a slow, deep breath, letting the sweet, warm, and comforting scent fill your lungs, and for a moment, the world outside this small kitchen fades away completely. All that matters is this warm, golden moment. You feel a soft contentment wash over you. The air in the kitchen is heavy with the promise of warmth and good food, a peaceful counterpoint to the growing darkness outside. You notice the dust motes dancing in the light from the fire, swirling in a slow, almost hypnotic dance. It is a tiny, beautiful detail in a simple, quiet room, a reminder of the quiet, enduring beauty of daily life. The sizzle and hiss of the fritters now sound like a soft, sleepy song, a lullaby of the hearth. You feel yourself sinking into the moment, held by the gentle warmth and the simple, honest work unfolding before you. Every sound, every scent, every visual detail contributes to a profound sense of calm. You feel utterly at peace and ready to simply observe. You have taken your leave of the small, warm kitchen. The lingering sweetness of the apple fritters is a pleasant memory on your tongue, a golden glow that follows you as you step back into the cool evening air. The cobbled street feels familiar now, a comforting path through the quiet, settling town. The soft, scraping sound of your feet on the loose pebbles is a gentle, rhythmic punctuation to the fading light. You continue on your way, no specific destination in mind, simply following the flow of the evening, and as you do, a new and distinct scent drifts to you on the breeze. It is not the sweetness of fruit or the warmth of spices, but something simpler, earthier, and subtly milky. The scent leads you to a new part of the market, a place where the air is filled with the subtle tanks of dairy. Ahead of you, a simple, low wooden cart is lit by a single flickering lantern. The light casts long, dancing shadows, making the cart and the figure behind it seem both larger than life and strangely serene. The person standing there, a stout figure with strong hands, is not a baker, but a cheesemonger. Their stall is much less dramatic than the kitchen you just left, yet there is a quiet, deliberate sense of purpose to their movements. On the cart are large, round wheels of cheese, some pale and fresh, others deep yellow and speckled with age. But your eyes are drawn to a simple, unadorned wooden bowl, filled with something small, white, and lumpy. These are cheese curds. These are the medieval equivalent of popcorn, a simple, bite-sized snack. Wildly inconsistent, but perfect in their own way. They are not meant to be glamorous. They don't melt, they don't stretch, and they are not destined for a grand feast table. Instead, they are the quiet, reliable friends of the medieval world, the snack you can always count on. You watch as the cheesemonger, with a large wooden spoon, gently stirs the curds. The soft clinking sound of the spoon against the wood of the bowl is a soothing rhythm. The curds look like little clumps of dairy joy, the result of a process that is both ancient and wonderfully simple. You can see the faint, glistening moisture on their surfaces, a testament to their freshness. You find yourself imagining how they came to be. In a small, humble hut, a farmer would have heated fresh milk, the steam rising in gentle clouds, filling the air with a soft, clean scent. To this milk, they would add a small amount of rennet, a substance that, though it came from the stomach of a baby animal, worked a quiet magic. You imagine the slow, patient stirring. The way the milk would begin to thicken and separate into two distinct parts, the clear, greenish liquid known as whey, and the soft, white clumps that are the curds themselves. You can almost feel the texture of the soft, new cheese as it forms, a delicate process that requires both skill and patience. The cheesemonger has already completed this step, but you can feel the echoes of the quiet work that brought them to this very stall. You lean closer, captivated by the simplicity. The curds are lightly pressed, just enough to remove the excess whey, and then salted. It is this light salting that gives them a pleasant, mild flavor. You imagine the coarse grains of salt being sprinkled over the soft, fresh curds, each grain a tiny burst of flavor. They are not perfect spheres. Some are soft and yielding, others a little firmer, even slightly rubbery. You can see the different shapes, the uneven clumps, a beautiful testament to their handcrafted nature. And if you listen very closely, you might imagine a faint, almost imperceptible squeak as they are moved around in the bowl. It's the sound of fresh cheese, a signal that it is exactly as it should be. These curds are a snack of necessity and of simple pleasure. They are portable. You could easily grab a handful and eat them on the road, while tending to sheep, or while working in the fields. In a time when a snack often meant a hard piece of bread or a cold unflavored broth, these curds feel like a minor victory. You imagine a traveler, their satchel worn and dusty, reaching inside to pull out a small cloth sack of these curds. A moment of comfort and sustenance on a long, hard journey. You can picture a monk in a quiet monastery, sitting in a cloistered garden, enjoying a small bowl of curds during a fasting day. They are a food that requires no celebration, no special occasion. They are simply there, a familiar, comforting presence. You contemplate the texture. They are mildly chewy, a soft resistance that gives way with a satisfying press. You can almost feel the gentle squeak against your teeth, a quiet sound that signals their perfect freshness. This is not a complex flavor. 'Tis the pure, simple taste of milk and a hint of salt, a flavor that speaks of the land and of honest work. The cheesemonger notices you and gives a small, knowing nod. They reach into the bowl, their movements unhurried and precise, and place a few of the small, white lumps onto a clean piece of linen paper. They offer them to you. You reach out and take them, the curds feeling cool and smooth in your palm. You bring one to your mouth, and as you bite down, there is that soft, gentle squeak, a whisper against your teeth. The flavor is a clean, mild dairy taste with just enough salt to bring it to life. It is simple, yet deeply satisfying. It is the taste of a cow's pasture, of a farmer's labor, of a timeless tradition. You find yourself chewing slowly, savoring the subtle texture and flavor. This is not a glamorous dish, but it is a food that reminds you of the simple truths of life. It is hearty, unpretentious, and completely reliable. You could fry them, crumble them over a stew, or simply eat them by the handful. They are a small, perfect piece of a larger world, and they offer a quiet, filling moment of peace. You feel the satisfaction spreading through you, a warmth that settles deep in your belly. The quiet of the market, the flickering lantern, and the humble stall all combine to create a profound sense of calm. You feel grounded in this ancient moment, utterly content. You now see the cheesemonger, a man whose hands are strong and calloused, a testament to his life of work. He looks at you with a quiet, knowing smile, as if sharing a secret about the true value of simple food. The scent of the curds on your hands is a pleasant, lasting aroma, a reminder of your journey. The cool evening breeze carries a new sound, a distant, muffled lowing of cattle, a gentle call from the very source of this simple feast. You continue to chew, your pace slow and deliberate. Each bite feels like a small connection to the land, to the animals, and to the people who worked tirelessly to bring this simple goodness to the market. The faint squeak of the curds is a small, happy secret between you and the ancient world. You are not just eating a snack. You are partaking in a 1,000-year-old ritual of sustenance and comfort. The peaceful, rhythmic sounds of the market and the quiet, flickering light of the lantern combine to create a perfect symphony of tranquility, holding you in this beautiful moment. You continue on your path, the lingering taste of the cheese curds, a fresh, clean memory on your palate. The cool air now feels less like an evening breeze and more like a companion, guiding you through the quieting city. The cobblestones under your feet are now familiar, a known path. The distant lowing of a cow and the quiet murmur of a closing tavern fade behind you. And as you turn a corner, a new, more robust aroma reaches you. It is a deep, savory scent, a warm, fragrant cloud of seasoned meat and baked flour, a stark but welcoming contrast to the milky temps of the last stall. This smell is both a promise and a mystery, and it draws you forward with a quiet, certain pull. The source is a small, bustling stand tucked between two tall stone buildings. Unlike the quiet cheesemonger, this place is still active, buzzing with a low energy, lit by the warm, flickering light of a brazier. A baker, his face ruddy and glistening from the heat, is using a long wooden peel to remove several golden brown shapes from a small, brick oven built right into the side of the stand. The steam that rises from them is thick and fragrant, carrying the powerful, comforting smell of baked goods and rich spices. You can see that they are shaped like a perfect half moon, with a thick, crimped edge that resembles the delicate stitch of a seamstress. These are meat pasties, the medieval answer to a hot pocket minus the microwave, and plus a genuine sense of adventure. You feel a magnetic pull towards this stand, a deep-seated need for something warm and substantial. You watch as the baker places a fresh pasty on a small, worn wooden cutting board, the crust a beautiful, rich golden brown, with a faint sheen of grease from the bubbling fat. The surface of the pasty is uneven and rustic, a testament to its handmade nature. You can clearly see the distinct thick lines of the crimping along its edge. A simple but ingenious seal that held the filling safe from the elements. This thick, sturdy crust was not just a container. It was a clever, edible form of packaging designed to be held by dirty, calloused hands and to protect the precious contents from the dirt of the road, the occasional drop, or the ever-present market dust. You find yourself appreciating the practicality of it all. The warmth radiating from the pasties is a gentle, comforting heat that you can feel from where you are standing. You imagine reaching out and taking one, the pastry feeling solid and heavy in your hand. A satisfying weight that promises to fill the belly and provide genuine nourishment. The scent is complex and layered. You can smell the savory richness of the meat inside, a deep, earthy aroma that is both comforting and intriguing. There is a hint of sage and a whisper of pepper spices that were often used to enhance the flavor of the filling, or more realistically, to distract from the fact that the meat had been resting for a few days longer than it should have. A subtle, almost imperceptible hint of garlic also drifts from the steam, adding another layer of depth to the aroma. You watch as the baker, with a few swift, practiced movements, cuts a small piece from the end of a pasty with a small, sharp knife and offers it to you on a piece of linen. The steam that rushes out is a thick, fragrant cloud, and you catch the first direct scent of the meat inside. It is incredibly rich and deeply savory. You take the piece, and it is still wonderfully warm in your hand, a perfect contrast to the cool evening air that now carries a light mist. You bring it to your mouth. The first bite is a soft, gentle crunch of the thick pastry, a satisfying resistance that gives way to a tender, flavorful interior. The meat is soft and well seasoned, and you can taste the savory blend of flavors, a simple but robust mix of herbs and spices. This is not a delicate dish. It is a rugged, hearty meal designed for people on the move. You find yourself contemplating the mystery of the filling. In a world without modern refrigeration, meat was a flexible term. If you were lucky and wealthy, the pasty might be filled with pork or mutton from a nearby manor. But for most, the options expanded dramatically. You imagine what could be inside. The lean, wild flavor of rabbit. The slightly sweet, gamey taste of pigeon. Or perhaps even the rich, oily texture of eel. The thought of these possibilities adds a sense of adventure to each bite. You chew slowly, letting the warm, savory flavors fill your mouth, and you decide that the exact contents do not matter. The warmth, the comfort, and the flavor are all that counts. The pasty is filling and deeply satisfying, a perfect meal for a tired traveler. It feels indulgent, a delicious reward for your long day's journey. You walk away from the stall, the warmth of the pasty, a gentle comfort in your hand. The sounds of the market begin to fade again, the hum of voices and the clatter of a few last carts. The savory, greasy warmth of the pasty is a wonderful feeling, a solid and comforting presence. You feel the satisfaction of a full stomach, a quiet sense of well-being that comes from a simple, honest meal. It is a moment of pure comfort, a taste of a time when food was both sustenance and a simple pleasure. You find yourself slowing your pace, savoring each bite. The pasty is a silent companion, a symbol of the day's journey, and a promise of peaceful rest. The dough is wonderfully chewy, a soft resistance that makes you feel connected to the food itself. You feel the deep contentment in your body, a soft wave of relaxation washing over you. You are held in this ancient moment, a moment of simple warmth and satisfying nourishment. The world around you fades into a gentle blur of shadow and light, and all that remains is the warmth in your hand and the satisfying flavor on your tongue. The distant, rhythmic sound of a watchman's bell in the city's highest tower adds a final serene note to the quiet evening. You are utterly at peace. You continue walking, the warmth of the pasty a gentle, reassuring presence in your hand. The thick crust holds the heat beautifully, a portable hearth of sorts. You take another bite, and this time you focus on the texture of the meat. It's not a uniform consistency. You can feel the individual pieces, some a little more firm, others melting on your tongue. The flavor of the herbs is more pronounced now, a subtle background note of savory spices that adds complexity to the rich meat. This pasty is a testament to the creativity and resilience of medieval people. They took what they had, a sturdy pastry, some readily available meat, and a handful of herbs on it, turned it into something both practical and deeply satisfying. You imagine the countless miners, laborers, and travelers who relied on these pasties, a small source of comfort and energy during a hard day's work. The pasty in your hand feels less like a snack and more like a link to that shared history, a direct connection to 1,000 anonymous lives. You are not just eating food, you are partaking in a tradition. The experience is both grounding and peaceful, a soft wave of tranquility settling over you as you continue your slow, contemplative walk through the quiet, ancient streets. The last wisps of wood smoke from the day's fires hang in the air, a final, calming scent to guide your way. The warmth of the meat pasty in your hand is slowly beginning to fade, and with it, the savory taste on your tongue. The comforting, greasy richness has done its job, leaving you with a deep, peaceful sense of satisfaction. You finish the last bite, and your hand, once warmed by the food, now feels the cool air of the evening again. The sounds of the market are almost entirely gone now, replaced by the soft, rhythmic echoing of your own footsteps on the cobblestones. The city is preparing for a long, quiet rest. You find yourself feeling a pleasant thirst, a quiet signal from your body that it is time for a different kind of nourishment, a final touch to your evening journey. And just as you think this, a new sound reaches your ears, carried on the cool, damp air. It is a low, persistent murmur of conversation, a soft, convivial hum that feels both distant and inviting. It is accompanied by a subtle, earthy aroma, the yeasty, bready scent of fermented grain. It is a smell that is as ancient as the act of farming itself, and it is a powerful invitation to a final, peaceful gathering. You follow the sound and the scent, turning down a side alley that leads away from the main thoroughfare. The alley opens up into a small, well-trodden square where a single, large wooden table sits beneath the flickering light of a torch. A few men are gathered there, their voices low and relaxed, their faces illuminated by the dancing light. They are not talking of business or of the day's toil, but of simple things, the coming of the harvest, the story of a lost sheep, the simple joys of a quiet evening. Behind the table, a man stands beside two large wooden barrels, their hoops made of dark metal. A simple spigot, worn smooth by countless turns, protrudes from each barrel. He is not a vendor calling out his wares, but a quiet, patient figure. His movements slow and deliberate, a master of his craft. You approach the stand, and as you do, you can feel the warmth of the torch on your face, a small pocket of light and life in the growing darkness. The man looks up and nods, his expression one of quiet welcome, his eyes holding a simple, honest warmth. You look at the two barrels. One is marked with a simple carving of a wheat stalk, its lines deep and weathered by time. The other is marked with a cluster of grapes, a symbol of a different, more refined kind of pleasure. The choice is clear. You gesture to the first barrel, the one with the wheat stalk. The man places a simple clay mug on the counter. The mug is rough and unglazed, its surface cool and porous, and you can see the faint, dark stains of countless previous drinks, each one a whisper of a forgotten story. With a slow, steady hand, he turns the spigot. You hear the soft, gurgling sound of the ale pouring from the barrel, a deep, liquid whisper that fills the quiet air. The dark liquid fills the mug, its surface holding a thin, gentle layer of foam. He places the mug on the counter before you, and you can feel the coolness of the mug seeping into your fingertips. A pleasant, soothing sensation that grounds you in the moment. The aroma of the ale is robust and simple. It is not complex or fruity, but smells of roasted malt and earthy yeast, a scent that is both honest and comforting. It is the smell of the very earth, of the grains that were grown and harvested and fermented with care. You lift the mug to your lips, the rough clay, a solid and dependable presence against your skin. You take a long, slow sip. The flavor is slightly bitter and bready, a deep, wholesome taste that is entirely without pretense. This is not a drink of celebration, but a drink of daily life, a simple, low-alcohol brew that was safer and more nutritious than the questionable water of the day. You can feel the coolness of the liquid as it travels down your throat, a refreshing end to the savory flavors of the pasty. You find yourself contemplating the history in your hand. This is the drink of the working class, of farmers and laborers and simple craftsmen. It was made in smoky back rooms, in homes and small breweries, with a practical rather than an artistic purpose. It was a caloric source, a hydrating liquid, and a reason for a small, quiet moment of community at the end of a long day. The simple act of drinking feels like a small ritual, a connection to every other person who has stood at a counter like this. At the end of a long day, seeking a simple moment of peace. You imagine them, their hands rough from work, their faces tired but content, sharing a quiet drink and a few gentle words. This is the essence of this drink. You notice the other barrel, the one with the grapes, and you find yourself imagining the other choice. A small cup of spiced, warm wine. You imagine the scent of it, a sweet, fragrant cloud of cinnamon, cloves, and honey. A drink that was often for the wealthy, for feasts and grand occasions. Wine was a symbol of status and wealth, a drink for those who had time for leisure. But you are content with your ale. It is a drink that feels right for this moment, for this simple, honest evening. It is the drink of the people, a beverage that carries with it a sense of shared humanity and quiet dignity. You finish the last of your ale, the mug now feeling warmer in your hand. The simple, bready taste lingers on your tongue, a final, calming note. You place the mug back on the counter with a quiet thud. The man behind the barrels gives you a final nod, a silent acknowledgement of a shared, peaceful moment. You turn to leave, feeling completely nourished and at peace. The low hum of conversation from the table and the flickering torchlight are a final, gentle memory. You feel the coolness of the night air on your face again, but now it feels different. You are not just a traveler. You are a part of this ancient, quiet rhythm of life. You feel ready to find your rest, your journey through the medieval night complete. The peaceful, rhythmic sounds of the city preparing for sleep are a perfect backdrop to the contentment you feel. You are a silent observer, a peaceful participant in a timeless ritual. You take a moment to look at the man behind the barrels. His hands are strong and steady, a testament to his life's work. His clothes are simple, made of coarse wool, but there is a quiet pride in his stance. He is not just selling a drink. He is providing a service, a small bit of comfort and community in a hard world. He is a part of the city's lifeblood, a silent keeper of a 1,000-year-old tradition. You consider the countless individuals who have visited this very spot. Their stories and their struggles, their small joys and their quiet hopes. Each person, each mug of ale contributes to a long, unbroken chain of history, a tapestry of human experience woven with the threads of everyday life. You feel a profound sense of connection to this place, to this time, and to the millions of forgotten souls who lived and worked and drank in these same simple ways. This moment, with its flickering light, its earthy smells, and its quiet hum of life, is a perfect piece of a larger, timeless mosaic. You feel your own place within it, a small part of a grand and beautiful story. The mug is a simple object, but it holds within it the spirit of an entire era. You take a final deep breath, letting the scent of the malt and the distant smell of wood smoke fill your lungs. The feeling of calm is now absolute, a deep, unwavering peace that settles in your bones. The night sky above you, seen through a narrow gap between the tall buildings, is a deep, dark blue, scattered with a few timid stars that are only just beginning to appear. The air is still, and you can hear the soft, distant chiming of a bell from a church tower, a final sound to mark the end of the day. You are alone, and yet you are not lonely. You are surrounded by the peaceful, sleeping city, and by the echoes of all the lives that came before you. The simple act of drinking ale has connected you to a vast and ancient past, and as you walk away, your steps are light and sure, guided by a deep and quiet sense of belonging. The peacefulness of the night wraps around you like a warm blanket. The peaceful hum of the market square has now faded completely into the soft, rhythmic sound of your own footsteps on the cobblestones. The ale has settled in your belly, a final, calming presence that wraps a warm blanket around the hunger you had earlier. The air is now fully cool, carrying a light mist that glistens in the scant light that remains from a few distant torches. A pleasant, quiet feeling of contentment fills you, and you find yourself feeling a new, lighter craving, a desire for a different kind of sweetness, something to cleanse the palate and provide a quiet burst of flavor. It is in this moment that a new scent finds you, subtle and fragrant, a whisper of sweetness on the cool night air. It is a scent of distant summer and warmth, of sun-drenched orchards and fields, a powerful reminder of sunnier, more bountiful days. You follow it, your steps taking you past the dark, closed doorways of merchants and artisans, their day's work done. The scent grows stronger, a sweet, cloying aroma that is both familiar and exotic. The perfume of fig and plum and rich, amber honey. It leads you to a small, humble stall, much quieter than the ones you have visited before. It is not lit by a brazier or a roaring fire, but by a single, small candle in a simple clay holder, its flame flickering gently, casting a soft, golden glow over the humble goods. The person behind the stall is a woman, her face weathered by sun and time, her hands gnarled but gentle, a testament to a life of work and care. She sits quietly, her head bowed in the candlelight, a picture of peaceful contemplation, her movements slow and deliberate. On her simple wooden table are two small piles. One is a collection of dark, wrinkled, and misshapen fruits, plums, figs, and raisins. These are not the plump, juicy fruits of summer, but their ancient, concentrated forms, a testament to the patient work of drying them in the sun and air. The other pile is a collection of small, lumpy, and uneven cakes, each one a different shape and size, but all sharing the same deep, golden brown color. You feel a pull towards these humble offerings. These are not snacks of necessity, like the pasty, or of simple sustenance, like the curds. These are a quiet luxury, a small, sweet reward for the end of a long day. You imagine the work that went into them. The plums, carefully pitted and laid out on woven mats in the hot summer sun. Their skins slowly shriveling as their sweetness and flavor intensified. A slow and natural alchemy. The figs, picked at the peak of their ripeness, their dark skin turning almost black as they dried. A deep and powerful sweetness captured in a small, ancient form. And the raisins, the tiny grapes left to turn into concentrated drops of sugar, each one a burst of summer light. You can almost feel the dry, sticky texture of them, the sweetness promising a little burst of energy, a moment of pure, unadulterated pleasure. Your eyes are drawn to the small, golden brown cakes. These are honey cakes, a simple pleasure that has been a part of human history for thousands of years. They are not made with refined sugar, which was a costly and rare luxury, a symbol of extreme wealth, but with honey, the ancient and precious gift of the bee, a taste of the wild and the domesticated. You can almost see the smooth, golden liquid being slowly stirred into a rough flour. A simple but magical transformation that takes a common grain and turns it into something special. The cakes are not perfect. Some are thick and dense, others thin and crispy. The surface of some is slightly cracked, a testament to their time in the oven. But all of them have the same deep, rich color and a subtle, enticing aroma. You can smell the sweetness of the honey. And a hint of something else, perhaps a touch of cinnamon or ginger, a small, treasured spice added to make them special. A whisper of the exotic. The woman looks up, her eyes gentle and knowing, and she gestures towards the two piles. She does not speak, but her gesture is a silent invitation. You reach out, your fingers hovering over the dried fruit. You take a single dried fig, its skin cool and dry against your fingertips. It feels small and surprisingly heavy, a dense packet of concentrated flavor. You bring it to your mouth. The first chew is a gentle resistance, the texture of the dry, chewy fruit. And then it gives way to a burst of concentrated, rich sweetness. It is a powerful flavor, a tiny piece of the summer sun captured and preserved for a colder day. You chew slowly, savoring the richness. And you feel the small burst of energy spreading through you, a warmth that radiates from your tongue to your entire body. Then you turn to the honey cakes. You take a small one, its surface slightly rough to the touch, and you can feel a few stray crumbs coming loose. It feels firm and solid in your hand, a satisfying little block of sweetness. You bring it to your lips. The first bite is a soft, gentle crunch, a subtle giving way of the dense cake. The flavor is a simple, wholesome sweetness, the deep, rich taste of honey and the earthy flavor of the flour. It is not overly sugary, but a satisfying, comforting kind of sweet. It is the taste of a quiet home, of patient work, and of a simple pleasure. You can feel the soft texture of the cake on your tongue, and you savor the last lingering sweetness on your palate. A soft, pleasant aftertaste that reminds you of a quiet kitchen at the end of the day. You feel a profound sense of peace. These foods are not for the hungry masses, but for the peaceful moments, for the quiet end of a long day. They are a simple, sweet reward, a reminder that even in a difficult world, there is still beauty and comfort to be found in the small things. The flickering candlelight, the scent of the sweet honey, and the taste of the sun-dried fruit all combine to create a moment of perfect tranquility. You are in a small, quiet corner of a vast, ancient world, and you feel entirely at home. The silence is broken only by the soft, almost imperceptible sound of a single stray crumb falling from your hand and landing on the wooden table, a tiny punctuation mark in this peaceful scene. The woman looks at you and gives a small, gentle nod, a silent acknowledgement of a shared, beautiful moment. The quiet dignity in her face and her stillness is deeply calming. You feel the slow, gentle rhythm of the night settling in all around you, a soft, soothing lullaby. All is well, and all is at peace. You finish your honey cake, the sweet taste leaving a pleasant, warming sensation. The small, rough-hewn cakes were a testament to the old knowledge of the countryside, the patience to wait for the honey harvest, and the skill to bake without a modern oven. You imagine the woman who made them, her hands sticky with honey. The air in her small cottage, thick with the scent of flour and warmth. This is not just a cake. It is a small, edible piece of history. The same recipe, perhaps, used by her mother and her grandmother before her. It is a taste of continuity, a small, sweet link in a long chain of generations. You reach out and touch a dried plum. Skin is like a fine, wrinkled leather, and as you press it, you can feel the slight give of the soft flesh within. It is a marvel of preservation, a tiny piece of summer's bounty saved for a dark, cold winter. In a world where food was not guaranteed, this small act of drying and storing was a symbol of hope and foresight. It was a promise that the harvest would return, that the sun would shine again, and that life would go on. The taste of it on your tongue is not just sweet. It is a taste of resilience and quiet strength. You stand for a long moment, simply watching the woman. The candlelight casts long dancing shadows behind her, making her a part of the vast and ancient darkness. Yet, she is a point of light, a small island of peace and calm in the sleeping city. The silence is profound now, broken only by the soft, almost unheard crackle of the candle flame. The air is thick with the scent of honey, a sweet, golden haze. You feel your shoulders relax, the last of the day's tensions melting away. You are no longer just a spectator. You have become a part of this quiet scene. Your presence, your quiet contemplation of these simple foods, is a part of her peaceful evening ritual. You place a small copper coin on the table, and she gives you a final, warm smile. You turn and walk away, the silence following you like a gentle companion. The air is clean and cool, and you feel entirely at rest. Your journey through the medieval night, a slow, peaceful descent into calm. The sweet memory of honey and dried fruit lingers on your tongue, a soft and gentle farewell to the comforts of the previous stall. The air is now quiet, the city truly settling down for the long night. Your footsteps on the cobblestones are the only sound, a gentle, rhythmic presence in the profound silence. You feel a new sense of completion, as if your journey through the flavors of the market is reaching its peaceful end. The richness of the pasty, the earthiness of the ale, and the pure sweetness of the honey have all had their moment. Now, your palate seeks something new, something light and clean to finish your journey. And just as this thought settles, a new, distinct aroma reaches you on the still night air. It is a scent that is both sweet and a little spicy. A fragrant cloud that is at once anise-like and subtle, reminiscent of a fresh garden in the late afternoon. It is the kind of scent that seems to rise from the earth itself, a promise of warmth and quiet healing. You follow it, your steps taking you down a narrow, shadowy path between two high stone walls, and it opens into a small, secluded courtyard. There, in the center of the space, a single small table stands alone, illuminated by the soft, steady glow of a single candle lantern. It is a quiet, contemplative scene, and you feel an immediate sense of peace. The rough stone walls of the courtyard are cool to the touch, their surfaces uneven and textured with moss and the passage of centuries. The air feels cleaner here, a small pocket of stillness removed from the city's main pulse. The person behind the table is an old man, his face a map of fine lines and a quiet sense of wisdom etched into every wrinkle. His hands are gnarled from age and work, but they rest with a profound stillness on the wooden table, a figure of serene contemplation. He is not selling anything with grand gestures or loud calls. He simply sits, his presence a silent invitation, a patient and unwavering anchor in the night. His goods are displayed on a simple woven cloth, the threads of the fabric frayed and soft from long use. Your eyes are drawn to a small wooden bowl, its surface polished smooth and dark by countless years of use. Inside the bowl are tiny oval shapes, a handful of them glinting in the soft, warm light of the lantern. They are a myriad of soft, beautiful colors, pale, ethereal green, a gentle, muted white, and a delicate, soft pink. They look like tiny, precious jewels scattered across the dark wood, each one a miniature work of edible art. These are candied fennel seeds. You feel a sense of wonder at their delicate beauty. These are not a food for filling the belly, but for cleansing the palate and calming the spirit. You imagine the work that went into them? The fennel harvested from the fields when the seeds were at their peak, their aroma at its most vibrant. The sugar carefully melted and brought to a slow boil over a gentle fire, the liquid turning into a thick, sweet syrup, a rare and luxurious ingredient in a world without modern refining. And then the patient, slow stirring, the constant motion that coated each tiny seed in the syrup, a careful alchemy that turned a simple spice into a beautiful confection. The sugar would crystallize slowly, forming a thin, hard shell around each seed, preserving its flavor and giving it a delicate, satisfying crunch. You consider how much time and care went into creating these small, perfect things. The patience of the sun, the quiet labor of the farmer, the subtle art of the confectioner captured in a single, edible moment. You lean closer, captivated by the colors and the scent. The pale green is the natural color of the seed itself. The white is the pure sugar coating, a simple canvas. But the pink is a small, luxurious addition of a rose petal or a bit of rare red dye, a tiny touch of opulence that hints at a world beyond simple sustenance. They look impossibly small and delicate, a stark contrast to the thick, hearty foods you have eaten so far. You can almost feel the smooth, hard surface of the candy coating, the way it would feel cool and round against your tongue. The scent is now stronger, a clean, sweet aroma of licorice and sugar, a breath of pure, fragrant air that seems to purify the very space around you. The old man, without a word, scoops a small handful of the seeds into a tiny, folded piece of paper. The paper is rough and fibrous, and the seeds within create a gentle, whispering sound as they shift and settle. It is a quiet rustle, like the sound of dry autumn leaves on a quiet path. He offers them to you with a subtle, graceful movement. You take the small packet, its weight almost imperceptible, and you thank him with a small nod, a gesture of shared understanding that transcends words. You open the paper and pour a few of the small, pastel-colored seeds into your palm. They look like confetti, a tiny, joyous burst of color against the calloused skin of your hand. You bring them to your mouth. The first touch is the coolness of the hard sugar shell, smooth and round against your teeth. You bite down, and there is a satisfying, gentle crunch as the sugar shell cracks and gives way with a soft whisper. The burst of sweetness is immediate and intense, a pure hit of concentrated flavor. But just as quickly, the sweetness fades, and the warm, slightly spicy, and distinctly anise-like flavor of the fennel seed emerges. It is a slow, gradual release of flavor that fills your mouth with a pleasant, lingering warmth. It feels clean and fresh, a perfect ending to a meal. This is a food of tradition and purpose. In the medieval world, fennel was known for its medicinal properties, used to aid digestion and calm the stomach. These seeds were not just a treat. They were a quiet form of medicine, a gentle way to settle the body after a hearty meal. They were also a popular way to freshen the breath, a common concern in a world without modern dental hygiene. This small act of consumption is a link to both the health and social customs of the past. You find yourself chewing slowly, letting the flavors mingle and the calming properties of the fennel work their quiet magic. The taste is not overwhelming, but a subtle and constant presence. You can feel the quietness of the courtyard, the soft glow of the lantern, and the deep stillness of the old man. He sits with a quiet dignity, a silent guardian of this peaceful corner of the city. The sound of the wind, a low, soft whisper, seems to be the only thing moving in the world. You are in a moment of perfect tranquility, a space where time seems to slow down and a deep sense of calm settles over you. You are not just eating a simple confection. You are participating in a timeless ritual of health and peace. The lingering taste of the seeds on your tongue is a final, calming note. It is a reminder that the greatest pleasures are often the smallest ones, and that true contentment can be found in the simplest of acts. The world's chaos and noise have faded away, leaving only this peaceful moment. You feel your mind settling, all thoughts and worries fading into a gentle, peaceful hum. All is quiet, all is well. You are at rest, held in the quiet stillness of the ancient night. You take a moment to look at the man's hands again, at the way he holds the wooden bowl with such care. This simple act of selling candied seeds is a small but vital part of the city's intricate network of trade and custom. These seeds, likely from far-off lands, traveled on a long and dangerous journey to reach this quiet courtyard. They passed through the hands of merchants, sailors, and traders, all to end up here, in this peaceful moment, in your hand. You consider that this tiny bag of seeds is a testament to the global connections of the medieval world, a silent story of trade routes and exotic places. This is the ancient equivalent of a modern-day convenience store snack, but with 1,000 times more history and care woven into its fabric. You stand for a long moment, simply watching the woman. The candlelight casts long, dancing shadows behind her, making her a part of the vast and ancient darkness. Yet she is a point of light, a small island of peace and calm in the sleeping city. The silence is profound now, broken only by the soft, almost unheard crackle of the candle flame. The air is thick with the scent of honey, a sweet, golden haze. You feel your shoulders relax, the last of the day's tensions melting away. You are no longer just a spectator. You have become a part of this quiet scene. Your presence, your quiet contemplation of these simple foods, is a part of her peaceful evening ritual. You place a small copper coin on the table, and she gives you a final, warm smile. You turn and walk away, the silence following you like a gentle companion. The air is clean and cool, and you feel entirely at rest. Your journey through the medieval night, a slow, peaceful descent into calm. The final clean taste of the candied fennel seeds has faded into a quiet, pleasant warmth on your tongue. The stillness of the courtyard and the peaceful wisdom of the old man are a fresh, calming memory. You feel your journey through the sweet and gentle flavors of the market is complete. But as you turn back onto a wider, more bustling street, you feel a new and more primal need. The deep, savory notes of your pasty and the rustic earthiness of your ale have receded, leaving a quiet, lingering memory of their fullness, and you feel a craving for a strong, salty flavor, a taste of preservation and strength. You walk past the quiet, sleeping storefronts, the shadows long and deep against the cobblestones. The city is a patchwork of darkness and light, with the occasional torch casting a flickering, unsteady glow. You hear a new sound ahead, a low, rhythmic clinking of metal against stone. A sound that is both familiar and a little unsettling. It is a sound of a world that is not yet fully asleep, a world of guards and night watchmen and those who live by the sword. As you approach, the scent reaches you a deep, smoky and intensely salty aroma, a smell of cured meat and the open air. It is a powerful scent, a promise of something strong and enduring, a flavor that speaks of hard work and survival. The source is a small, rough-hewn stand, its counter made of thick, dark wood. It is lit by a single large lantern that hangs from a thick iron hook, casting a bright, harsh light over its simple goods. The vendor is a tall, broad-shouldered man, his face weathered and tanned, his hands scarred and calloused from a lifetime of hard work. A faint, almost imperceptible scent of wood smoke clings to his coarse woolen tunic. He is using a small, sharp knife to slice thin, delicate pieces from a large, dark leg of ham that hangs from a hook above the counter. The meat is a deep, rich red, a testament to its long curing, and a thick, white fat runs through it in beautiful marbled lines, like veins of pure energy. The man's movements are precise and economical, each slice a result of years of quiet practice. The knife whispers through the flesh with a soft, clean sound, a tiny, satisfying note in the still night. You feel a pull towards this stall. It is a stark contrast to the quiet delicacy of the last one. This is food of a different kind, food of necessity, of travel, of long journeys and dangerous work. It is not about flavor as much as it is about sustenance, about survival. Yet you feel a strong magnetic draw to it. The ham is not just food. It is a symbol of foresight and preparation, a promise of a future meal in a world where food was a precious and often uncertain thing. You imagine the salt carefully rubbed into the meat, the long, slow process of curing it in a cool, dark place, the patience and knowledge that went into its preservation. This is a food that tells a story of survival and endurance, of humanity's ancient battle against hunger. You think of the smokehouses, the low-burning fires of oak or beechwood, the fragrant smoke slowly penetrating the meat, a process that could take months, even years. You watch as the man with a practiced and confident hand cuts a thin slice from the ham. The knife whispers through the meat with a soft, clean sound. It is so thin that it is almost translucent, the light from the lantern shining through it, revealing the intricate patterns of the fat. He places the slice on a small, worn piece of parchment paper and offers it to you. The paper is rough, but the slice of ham is smooth and almost oily to the touch. You can see the fine marbling of the fat and the deep, rich color of the meat, a testament to its quality. You bring it to your mouth. The scent is now powerfully smoky and salty, a strong, honest aroma that fills your senses, a smell that speaks of wood smoke and the untamed wilderness. The first taste is an immediate and intense burst of salt. It is a sharp, clean flavor that awakens your palate and makes your tongue tingle. But as you chew, the initial saltiness gives way to a deep, savory, and surprisingly complex flavor. You can taste the rich, porky flavor of the meat and a subtle, smoky hint that comes from the curing process. The texture is soft and yielding, the fat melting on your tongue, releasing another layer of flavor. It is a simple food, but it is deeply satisfying, a powerful, flavorful punch that feels both ancient and vital. The taste of salt, you realize, is not just a flavor. It is a taste of life, of minerals from the earth, and of the raw elemental connection to the food that sustains us. You think about the people who relied on this food, the soldiers who carried it in their packs on long marches, a piece of home to sustain them in a hostile world. The sailors who took it with them on journeys across the dangerous seas, a promise of survival against the vast, unforgiving ocean. The travelers who depended on it for sustenance on the long, lonely roads between towns, a simple meal to keep them going. The caravans of merchants, the pilgrims on their way to holy sites. The messengers who risked their lives to carry news from one kingdom to another. This food was their constant companion. This food was a lifeline, a source of energy and protein in a world where fresh food was not always an option. The taste in your mouth is not just of salt and smoke, but of history, of the quiet strength of those who survived on simple, preserved foods. It is a taste of a time when food was a matter of life and death, and its preservation a matter of survival. The man behind the counter watches you with a silent, knowing look. He knows the power of his goods. He knows that he is not just selling meat, but a promise of safety and strength, a small piece of security in a chaotic world. You chew slowly, letting the flavors linger, and you feel the deep, honest satisfaction of a simple, perfect meal. The salt awakens your senses, and the meat gives you a new sense of energy. The quiet clinking of the night watchman's metal armor in the distance adds a final, solemn note to the scene. You are in a small, quiet corner of the city, eating a food of necessity and survival. And you feel a profound sense of connection to the history of this place. You finish your small portion, the salty flavor a final, invigorating note on your tongue. You feel energized and alert, ready for the final leg of your journey through the medieval night. The feeling of peaceful contentment is now mixed with a new, quiet sense of strength and readiness. All is well, and all is at peace, and you are fortified for what comes next. You notice the way the man holds his knife, a simple, well-worn tool that has sliced countless pieces of ham over the years. His hands are a map of his life's work, each scar and callus a testament to his dedication. He is a part of this ancient ritual, a silent custodian of a vital tradition. His gaze is steady and calm, and you feel a quiet respect for him and for the centuries of people like him who have kept these simple, powerful traditions alive. This is not a man of great wealth or power, but he holds a fundamental wisdom, the knowledge of how to sustain a life, a family, a community. You feel a deep sense of humility in his presence. The food in your mouth is more than just a flavor. It is a lesson in resilience, a taste of the quiet, enduring spirit of humanity. It is a reminder that strength is not always loud or grand, but is often found in the simple, patient acts of survival. You place a small coin on the counter, a gesture of gratitude for more than just the food. And you turn to leave, your steps now firm and resolute, ready for whatever the night may hold. The strong, salty taste of the ham lingers on your lips, a quiet reminder of its power. The air has grown colder now, the moon having risen higher in the sky, and its pale light casts the city in a new silver hue. You are no longer just a traveler. You are a survivor, a part of the city's ancient, enduring soul. The lingering, salty taste of the cured ham is a final, invigorating note on your tongue, a powerful reminder of the deep history of survival and endurance. Your steps are firm and resolute on the cobblestones, the quiet confidence from the last encounter settling deep within you. The city is now truly asleep. The distant, rhythmic clinking of the night watchman's armor has faded, and the flickering lights of the market are now gone, replaced by the soft, steady glow of the rising moon, which casts a pale silver light over the ancient streets. The air is cold and still, carrying a new scent, one that is both simple and profoundly comforting. It is the smell of a low, crackling fire and a subtle, earthy aroma, a scent that is both nutty and sweet. A smell that speaks of a different kind of ancient wisdom, not of curing and preservation, but of growth and harvest. You follow it, your steps taking you down a final, quiet lane, and it leads you to the city's ancient gates, which stand tall and silent against the night sky. In the archway of the gate, protected from the wind, a single, small fire burns in a simple clay brazier, casting a warm, welcoming light. Huddled beside the fire is a young boy, his face illuminated by the dancing flames. He is not a merchant, not a vendor, but a simple peasant boy. Perhaps on his way home from a far-off field, or a young apprentice trying to make a few coins at the end of a long day. He has a simple iron pan with a long handle, and in it he is toasting a handful of kernels over the low flame. The kernels are small and hard, a pale, unassuming yellow, but as they heat, they begin to swell and crackle with a soft, gentle sound. The pop is not loud, but a series of quiet, rhythmic little snaps, a tiny, joyous symphony in the still night. You feel a profound sense of closure. This is a final, beautiful contrast to all that has come before. The complexity of the fritters, the richness of the pasty, the ancient tradition of the ale. the simple, delicate luxury of the honey, cakes, and the powerful sustenance of the hum all of these flavors. These stories have led you to this moment, and now you are faced with a snack of ultimate simplicity. This is not a product of great skill or long preservation, but of a simple truth, a seed, heat, and a moment of patience. This is a food of the field, of the harvest, a taste of the raw, untamed earth. The boy looks up, his eyes bright and curious in the firelight. He offers you the pan, its handle warm from the heat. The kernels are now a beautiful golden brown, some of them split open to reveal a soft, white interior. You reach out and take a small handful. They are warm in your palm, a simple, gentle heat that feels like a blessing. You bring them to your mouth. The first taste is a warm, dry, and slightly nutty flavor. The texture is a gentle crunch, a light, satisfying crispness that is entirely without pretense. This is a clean, honest flavor, a taste of the earth and the sun, a taste of pure, uncomplicated nourishment. You chew slowly, savoring the simplicity of it. There is no added sugar, no salt, no spice. Just the pure, unadulterated flavor of the grain, transformed by a touch of fire. This is the food of the traveler, of the simple farmer, of the person with very little to offer, but a handful of kernels and a warm fire. It is a humble food, but in its simplicity lies a profound truth. It is a reminder that the most essential things in life are often the most basic. The warmth of a fire, a simple bite of food, the quiet company of a fellow traveler. The boy sits with a quiet calm, watching the last of the kernels pop. He is a part of this ancient rhythm, a young guardian of a timeless tradition. You feel a deep sense of humility in his presence. You have traveled through a landscape of flavors, from the complex and the luxurious to the simple and the pure. And you have ended your journey here, at the most basic of all foods. The taste on your tongue is not just of roasted grain. It is a taste of gratitude, of contentment, of a journey completed. The moonlight now fully illuminates the cobblestone street, and you can see the faint, silvery glow of the morning sun beginning to rise on the horizon. The journey through the medieval night is over. You stand in the quiet archway, your stomach full, your spirit calm, and your mind at peace. The simple taste of the roasted corn is a final perfect note. It is a taste of the promise of a new day, of a new harvest, and of a new beginning. You have walked through a world of shadows and light, of noise and silence, and you have found your peace in the simplest of all things. You are at rest, and your journey is complete.